Pronunciation rule. That sound there doesn't matter if it's plural, third person singular, or possessive. So when we add the S, when we're adding an S in English for whatever reason, most of the time it's a Z sound. It's voiced. So here's your rule. All your vowels and diphthongs, voiced. Alright, if we pick one. Well, there it is. A. Holidays. Day. How many days were you sick? Alright, if we pick. What's an oo sound? Kangaroo. Kangaroos. Now, if you pick any of those, you'll find, if you experiment with them, the native will say Z sound.
Chairs.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, chairs. Correct. Ah, cars. Okay, so, one clear rule is all vowels and diphthongs, Z. Now, with your bottom row, all Z. M. So finish this with an M.
Room.
Rooms. Pins.
Things.
Sings. She sings. Right. These don't end English words, but all pools. Walls. Alright? So the only place you can have the S is in here. And for all your voiced ones, your B and V, bibs. He carves the meat. Right, so, but if we take the unvoiced P and F, so sips, cup of tea, little sip. Sips.
Lips.
Huh?
Lips. Lips.
Lipstick.
Yeah,
Lips.
exactly.
Lips.
Yep.
Staff.
Scarf.
We don't have staffs.
Staff.
It's uncountable.
Scarf.
Scarf.
That becomes scarves.
Scarf. Yeah.
Remember, it's a F sound, so look,
Roof.
that becomes roofs.
Laugh.
Laugh. That is a F sound, isn't it? It's not a spelling rule.
Okay.
Right, it's a sound rule. So laughs. Okay, so those two there. Now if we go to the next little group, he loads the truck. Zzz. Zzz. He baths the baby. You can say bathes as well, bathes. But the T, the unvoiced T, and th, sit, s, moth, s. Okay. There are the unvoiced. Keep going. J.
Hang on, unvoiced is a TH, after TH is unvoiced, is it? More.
Well, now think about
More.
the TH in English can be that, or we can have a TH like that, can't we? Like they, or think. The TH can be a or the TH can be a just depends on the word.
Breathe. Breath.
Yeah. Breathe. Breath. So 6 breaths. but he breathes.
Breathes fast.
Yeah. So move to the next one, j. Now with a j, like we take judge, one syllable. Add an S, what do we get? Judges, it becomes two syllables, doesn't it? Always with these words. Wedge, wedges. Ledge, ledges. It becomes two syllables. That becomes a schwa, and that becomes a z. So it's not a s one. Judges. We'll take the voiced one. Z. The V. Buzzes. Same tendency. Buzzes. You get two syllables, and that still ends in z. Let's come back to the unvoiced ones. The ch, watch. She watches television. Same thing, isn't it? Extra syllable. So watch, one syllable. Watches, two syllables. And we get the z again. Watches. And the s. Kiss. Three kisses. Schwa. Z. Alright, so none of them produce a unvoiced s.
Kisses. With,
Kisses.
with the classes are similar, isn't it?
Classes, yes, that's right, because they're
Yeah.
all ending in s. Classes. Alright, to the last group here. G. Eggs. Z. Eggs. Z.
Zoo.
No, that's z. Z. Don't know if we end with this. If you did, beiges. Beiges. It would, if you did have such a word, I don't know if we do in English,
No.
but it would be like this. And it would be a z. But if we take the unvoiced, k. So, he kicks the ball. Kicks. Shh.
That's a very clear sound. Kicks.
Yeah.
Just like kicks.
But this one, wish. Wishes. Wish.
Wishes. Yes, two syllables.
Yeah, it's like these ones, isn't it? Wishes. Schwa. Z.
Can we say
Wishes. So. Sorry.
Can we say pushes?
Pushes, yeah. So, pushes. Okay, so, use another colour. The p, the f, the t, f, and k. Only those 5. It's 5. Fingers on the hand, easy rule. Everyone got 5 fingers? Yeah, good.
My friend got 6 fingers. Which one?
Fingers.
So we pronounce s in minority.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
actually,
In a minority of
in minority. But actually, in China, English students taught us is the play the major role.
No.
But how about the biggest?
No, really? Is that what you got taught?
How about the biggest?
That's different. That's EST.
EST, yes.
That's always a st.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Largest, smallest, tallest,
Tallest.
widest. It's always st. That's a different ending than this one. Yeah. So it's 5 out of, is it 44 sounds in total? I can't remember. 44 or 46. So it's definitely a small number.
Still confused. Sorry. Need to practice all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
Just remember that line.
Just,
For the rest.
just what you have to do,
Yeah.
you can write those ones down
Yeah. I did.
and make sure that, you know, after that, your s. Now the problem is not these ones, because most people, second language learners, naturally say unvoiced s.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
The problem is getting the
Always
voice.
is,
You know, it's the finger here.
Do you know, I thought they make them up before I heard the native people say the z or something, and I thought they just make it out. But now you really describe like that, then it doesn't make sense. Because for our language, we always say s only. Yeah, class.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Lots of languages don't have a z
Yeah,
sound.
we haven't got class. Oh,
Yeah.
still classes. Yeah, we do, but the
Although-
S's all the time.
Although Mandarin has a z, but you don't have it at the end of words, I think. You certainly have it. Zaijian. Z. Zai. Zaijian. It's that z.
What is that?
Zaijian. By
再见.
Zai. Is it?
再.
Say it again.
在. We don't pronounce z, we z.
Zai.
But
Zai.
the spelling is
Okay, so it's not quite the same, is it?
Spelling is that, but that's pinyin, that's not English.
Yeah.
That's English
Yeah,
letters,
yeah,
that's
that's
true.
true.
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
But Western people, we like pinyin.
Yeah.
That's the
Of
only
course,
way
of
they
course.
can learn pinyin.
Yeah, we have pinyin, you know, we have pinyin, it's
Yeah.
all English letters, but different pronunciation. We have, in English we have A, B, C, but in pinyin we have A, O, Z.
Yeah,
Right.
totally different. Yeah. Do you know I learned Mandarin, I fell in there because the pinyin drive me crazy.
So how about voice? Voices.
Voices, that's a s.
Still
So it's like this one.
kisses. Voices. Yeah, that's two
Voices.
syllables.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, if you are unvoiced with your endings, where they should be voiced, people are still going to understand you probably. But if you do want to get the native-like sound, it'll help definitely. So you throw it in. All right.
But look, quite to be honest, John, even you got
To
to
be quite honest,
be quite honest, not quite to be honest. Even you very clear.
even if.
Even if you very clearly a native sound, when they first look at you, they already in their mind you are foreigner. They,
Probably.
yeah, they do.
A percentage, true,
And then they waste the words.
but
It's a syllable, yeah, the syllable,
Yeah,
yeah.
they make you more understand, and I say, don't worry, you speak normal then. Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, look, it's a bell-shaped curve, isn't it? Some people are like that, others will treat you more naturally, normally.
Especially those elder people,
Is that right? Elderly,
elderly, yeah.
more like what you're describing.
Yeah.
They've
About
had less
80
experience of multicultural contact.
Yeah, over 80 years old.
Yeah,
But
right.
both second generation or third generation of migrants getting much better.
Yeah, yeah.
Speak like native speaker.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Walid and Ahmed are
Yeah.
pretty much
They've been here
native
for
life.
16 years.
Yeah, yeah. And their accent is pretty much Australian
Yeah.
accent.
Especially Wally.
Yeah. Okay, well, people were asking for model essay. Yeah, thanks.
One for Nancy. Oh, Nancy is not going overseas. Nancy is going.
Hello, Irina.
Nancy is going to Brisbane or something.
Yeah.
We talk about.
Yesterday's
Yeah, we talk about ballet. We talk ballet, so I thought she was going to overseas.
They've been here 16 years.
But they've been here since childhood.
You
Since
stay
childhood.
exposed into English
I mean,
and then for the time.
Ahmed, Muhammad, Wale, they've been here.
Ahmed's been here since childhood, is it?
Ahmed said they have
Yeah,
been
maybe
here for
childhood is
16
different.
years.
That means they've been
That
studying.
means
That means they've been studying high school here.
Yeah.
They have been studying high
Because my
school.
niece, she born in Sri Lanka, but she studied here. Now when she talk, we can't even think they from Sri Lanka. It's exactly like here. Because I think they've been talking too much with the Australians.
When they studied here.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a second. But think of how long you've been here. Okay. There's a model essay. Have a read. I doubt we'll analyse it. It would be probably better to analyse it early next term when everyone's back on deck. People are kind of on holidays or whatever.
Since yesterday.
But that was a very good one, and I don't think anybody has picked that person, so it won't spoil anybody's research. Yeah, Inge Glenn didn't, Ken didn't. Nicely written.
But they use the footnotes.
No, that's just an added extra point that the person has made. It's not a reference. So you can have footnotes which add extra points. That's different from referencing. Yeah. You'll see the references at the end. It's a Harvard system that they've used. Yeah. But you just get a sense of the sort of structure and the focus that the person's put on. What's that?
It's the same person.
That's right. When you repeat the author, you can leave a dash line. All right. So that person is actually, he was with the class last year. He's gone on. He's doing English literature at LA Uni, studying Shakespeare. Very interested in language. His language is great, but vocab level fantastic.
What does it mean as Shakespeare?
Shakespeare,
Yeah. What's
the writer in English, probably the most famous writer in English.
England?
Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, King Lear.
Oh, okay.
Shakespeare.
Midsummer Night's Dream. How do you say it?
Shakespeare.
Oh, Shakespeare. Oh,
Say
Shakespeare.
yeah.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Okay.
It's very
Romantic.
romantic.
Yeah.
That's, oh.
Well, Romeo and Juliet is, but he's not a romantic writer. Romantics come much later, about 2 centuries later. There we go.
Another one.
Hey,
You see, another one coming in. Graduate.
boring, yeah.
Eventually comes in.
I won't need
But
that.
he's very kind of
Read how long you've been here and how good you are at a language. As I've said once before, a few times, it's not how many years, it's how many hours. You can live here for a really long time, and if you're not practicing the language like daily and making sure that you balance that practice across the 4 macro skills, speaking, listening, reading, writing, then you can be here, as you know, you probably know people who've been anywhere in any country for a really long time and have not got very far. So, I'll just put up this formula again.
I think that answers your question.
That's right. Yeah.
Muhammad, Wale.
Wally.
Yeah, they spend all the time at school talking with classmates, with friends all the time.
That's right.
That's true. My daughter is
It'd be interesting to add up. I've not done it. The calculation of school hours 9 till 3 o'clock times the number of days times the number of years. It's certainly several thousand hours, isn't it? So, yeah. Yeah, young kids who come in are getting a lot of practice in that respect. So I think you have to think of it.
Now I wonder how come I'd be a good cook now.
A good one.
A good cook. Because as soon as I arrive, I just cook for family, cook for everybody. Now I wonder.
Now the other factor is this. So, I mean, that's a quick comment on, you know, it's not how many years, it's how many hours you do. And if you think of it like that, I think you think of the project very differently. And you try deliberately to get as many hours as you can per day. The other one is that. And that's, it's not 10,000 hours of practice, it's 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. And the example I've given before is, you want to get good at golf, you could stand there for 10,000 hours and talk to your friend while you hit the ball, you know, and do business deals or whatever. You're not going to get very good at golf. It's the focus, isn't it? And you're monitoring yourself. Have you got your arms straight, the elbow locked, the grip right, you know, how you find all that stuff. Over and over and over again, checking. Basically, it's this.
Performance.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what skill, that loop is what everyone does, isn't it? You perform, you get some feedback on it, you rethink it, do it again, and just go round and round. It's tens of thousands of cycles in many different aspects of whatever you're talking about, whether it's speaking, writing, reading. Now, the whole thing is that the performance should be deliberate. Feedback should be very conscious of analysing yourself. You know, again in the golf, really analysing your position of your arm. Now, let's transfer that to language. When you're speaking, you're really thinking about grammar. And you're really thinking about vocabulary. And, oh, am I using the noun form? Am I adding the plural? Have I got the preposition right? And then the feedback. Feedback's hard in language because nobody says, oh, usually. They don't correct you unless you've got an English teacher there. And even English teachers don't correct everything. Because if they did, it'd interrupt too much. We tend to correct the things we think you really need and you're ready for. And that's different with each person. So direct feedback is very difficult. It's one thing that slows the process down. The feedback, I think the main feedback comes in reading and listening. So that you say something, you construct something. And then if you're doing a lot of reading and a lot of listening, you'll see that phrase or some similar construction a day, 3 days, 3 weeks later. And if you've been very conscious when you've constructed it, you'll have a good memory of what you said. And then you think, oh my God, that was the wrong preposition. Or, oh, it's always in the plural. Staff, you said, you know, staffs. Now, if you're reading lots of stuff and then you'll see, oh, the staff at TAFE, and you think, that's plural, but it's in the singular. Oh my God, last Tuesday I said it wrong. You know, that's how you get your feedback, isn't it? This is one of the problems. It's often delayed. There's often a delay here. Between when you say staffs and when you read or hear it and realise, oh, I was wrong. Then there's a little micro lesson, a correction. So you revise it from background and it's an improvement. You're better than you were before. But this is a problem, the delay. Now, the longer the delay, the harder it is to, you know, get meaningful feedback and then revise it. If you say staffs, and then it's like 3 months later, you won't even remember what you said. So So how do you shrink that delay? So that if you say staffs, hopefully within the next week to 2 to 3 weeks, you hear or read it. That's what you've got to do, isn't it? You've got to shrink that time so that you still have memory of what you said. So you can still remember your performance and therefore get indirect feedback. The only way is to do lots and lots of that, isn't it? And lots of that. So this is why I've been emphasising, especially the listening. We can get 8,000 words per hour. Hard to read 8,000 words an hour. But you can really inject yourself with lots of words. And some, you know, if you listen 2 to 3 hours, like continuous talking, like something like Radio National or certain YouTubes or whatever, you just listen. That's going to shrink that a lot. So if you're doing a lot of speaking, you get yourself into situations where you're doing lots of speaking. Go and join voluntary groups or work or join a course or whatever. So lots of output. You're doing lots of that to shrink the delay. That's how you're going to get better. And again, that has to be very deliberate. Now the problem is this, that if you come and you're after, you know, a few years in a country, you're finding you're getting by in the shops, making friends, and you're sort of communicating. Everything's working. You know, you can move house successfully. You can ring Centrelink, or you know, do all those things. People kind of relax a bit, and the deliberate thing stops happening. So you can say, I won't go holiday this week. I won't go holiday this week. Somebody will understand, won't they? But you've missed a preposition, I want to go on holiday this week. But they've understood, you've got your message across, who cares, that kind of stops. You've got to keep the deliberate reflection going. You've got to keep grammatical awareness happening. Basically it's meta-awareness. So when you're speaking, you've got to have like a little person kind of watching yourself speak. And you're thinking about your grammar. And you're thinking about staff, oh, countable, uncountable, staff. You've got to be that conscious when you're speaking. That meta-awareness is that. So the point is, you, as I said, if you just practice, you get out there and you deal with everyday life in Australia, and you're doing a lot of talking, and you're getting everything done quite successfully, but you're not really applying this, then it's like the person practicing golf and talking to their friend. You'll get okay at golf, and you'll be a pretty kind of crappy golfer. You'll be able to get around 18 holes, but you won't improve. And you know, people who've been here a long time kind of often get to that point where that has stopped, or it's minimal. And so you've got to kind of rebuild this. This is a kind of bit of a danger at this high level, relatively high level, that you're doing everything pretty well. So you start to turn that off. It starts to shrink, because it's extra effort, isn't it? I mean, in your native language, if that's kind of your brain space, your meta-awareness of yourself when you talk is really tiny. You don't really have to monitor your own grammar. It all just happens automatically, doesn't it? It's almost non-existent. So your brain space for when you talk, there's your language. You know, the brain's doing all sorts of other things as well. It's not going to dominate the whole brain. And your meta-awareness is really small. In a second language, though, it has to be quite sizable. You've got to do a whole lot of conscious monitoring, don't you? and it takes brain space, and it's kind of a bit uncomfortable and a bit stressful. It's a bit extra load on the system, isn't it? It's like, you know, having the computer running